Hey guys, what's up? I am Jody with Board Game Perspective. Within the charming valley of Everdell, among the meandering streams and mossy hollows, a civilization of forest critters is thriving and expanding. These citizens have prospered under the shelter of the enduring Evertree, but now it's time to expand and establish new cities. Prepare to be enchanted by the wondrous world of Everdell. Once you're here, you might never ever want to leave. So, this game is all about worker placement and tableau building, and it's designed by James A. Wilson and published by Starling Games. So this game has a bunch of awesome components and critters, so let's see how this game plays. Let's go over how to set up the game. So you're going to put the board out, and then on the top of the board there's going to be a tree stump, and you're going to put this awesome little tree, the Evertree, on top of the tree stump. And then you're going to place out the twigs, the resin, the pebbles, and the berries in these spots here. And then you're going to you have a deck of cards, the main deck, which you're going to shuffle. And then you're going to randomly put out 8 of those cards in the meadow. And then you're going to stick the main deck right underneath the tree there. And then you're going to have these 4 basic events underneath the tree. And then you're going to place the 4 special events, which are these little cards with the little tree background, backside on it. And you're going to place those 4 out on top of the tree. And then there's these other cards, these forest locations. You're going to shuffle them. You're going to randomly draw. So I set this up for a 4-player game, so I put out 4 of these different forest locations. And then you're going to have some tokens, points, and you have these occupied tokens. This is for the solo game. You're just going to have all of that stuff to the side. This case does not come with the game, by the way. And then you have a bunch of critters. So each player is going to grab 1 color of critters. And they're going to have 2 with their play area, and then the other 4 they're going to place up here on the Evertree. You're going to have 1 on spring, 1 in summer, and 2 in autumn. And you will also give each player some cards to start. For the first player you will give 5 cards, the second player 6, and so on. So in this game, players are going to be taking turns. Now on each player's turn, you can do 1 of 3 actions. You can place a worker, play a card, or prepare for season. So let's go over the first action you can take on your turn, which is placing a worker. So if you want to do this, you'll grab one of your available workers and you'll place them on an open spot. Now there are 2 different locations that are important to recognize. There is a shared location, and that will be a circle that's not completely encased. So this is open. So this means that multiple people can put their worker there, and you can even put multiple of your own worker in that location. And then there are exclusive locations where the circle is completely closed, so only 1 person can place their worker there. Once you have placed a worker on a location, that worker is considered deployed and will stay out until you prepare for season, in which you will pull back your workers. So let's go over this line of basic actions here. So if I go here, I can get 3 twigs. Here I can pull 1 card from the main deck and get 2 twigs, 2 resin, 1 card, 2 cards, and 1 coin from the supply, 1 pebble, 1 berry and 1 card, and 1 berry. You can also place a worker on an available forest location. So on these cards, you will see there are two spots for each card. One shows this little 4 icon here. So this is only available in a 4-player game. So you can place your worker on one of those. And for example, if I place a worker here, I would get 3 berries. If I went here, I would get 3 cards and a pebble. And depending on your game, there's going to be different scenarios for these forest locations. Now, a thing to note though is if you are playing it with a 4-player game, you still can only put 1 worker on this forest location. So I cannot have 2 workers on this forest location. You can also place a worker on a destination card that you might have in your city or another player might have in their city. So you would just simply put it on the paw print spot to claim the action of the card. So there can be a difference in these cards though to note. If you can see on this card it has an open sign and then a symbol for a 1-point token. So if you have this in your city and another player, let's say this white player, wants to go here, he can because it is an open card. But whenever another player uses your card, then you can grab 1 point token from the supply. So this card does not have an open sign, so this is not available for anyone else other than you to place your worker. You can also place your worker on one of these basic event tiles up here, but in order to place a worker there, you have to meet the conditions. So to place my worker here, I would have to have 3 destination cards in my city. If I were to place my worker, let's say over here, I would have to have 4 production cards in my city. If you do meet that criteria, then you can take this into your play area, and this will be 3 points at the end of the game. The same goes for these special event cards. You can place your worker on one of the available cards, but in order to do so, you have to meet the criteria. So for instance, in order for me to get to take this card, I have to have a tower card and a minor mole card in my city. If I do meet that criteria and I place my worker here, then you do whatever this card says. Sometimes it's end of the game scoring. You're going to put this in your play area. Only 1 player may achieve each event, so multiple people cannot claim this one or this one down here. All the event tiles, only 1 person can claim a different event. And down the bottom of the board you have Haven, which is a shared location, so multiple people can go there. So if you go there, you can discard any number of cards from your hand, but for every 2 cards you discard, you get 1 resource. And whenever there's a basket symbol with a bunch of different things in the basket, that means it's pretty much a wild, you can get whatever resource you want. So this player would discard these 2 cards, and let's say they wanted to get a berry. And then the discard pile is right here in the middle. And over here we have Journey, which is only open in autumn. So what you can do is place a worker on one of these open locations. This one's shared, so multiple people can go here, but only 1 person can go to the 3 and 4 and 5 spot. So these are going to be worth points at the end of the game. So let's say I went here. At the end of the game, this guy will score me 3 points. So to go here, you have to discard cards equal to the point value. So I'm on this 3 spot. So I would have to discard 3 cards in order for me to even place my worker there. The second action you can do on your turn is playing 1 card. You can play 1 card either from the meadow or from your hand, but you have to pay the listed requirements on the card. And once you pay for that card, you then place that card into your city. So here's an example of a city a player might have. Now, each player's city can have a maximum of 15 cards. So this example has 10 cards, so that they could potentially put out 5 more cards to make it 15, but they could not put out 6 more. Each card is going to be either a construction card or a critter card. Now, before those words, it's going to say common or unique. So this one says unique construction here. So whenever it says unique, that means there can only be 1 copy of this school card in your city. But when it says common, you can have multiple copies of that same card in your city. The cost to play a card in your city is in the upper left-hand corner. So for this one, I would have had to have paid 2 twigs and 2 resin in order to play this into my city. For the chip sweep card, I would have paid 3 berries, or if I had this card up in the left-hand corner, see it says Resin Refinery. If I had that card already in my city, I could have played this card for free. So let's do another example of this type of scenario. So this school card right here, in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see this little symbol for the teacher card, and it says teacher. So what you could do is, if you see a teacher card in your hand or in the meadow, you can basically get that card for free. So let's say I had the teacher card in my hand. So what I would do is I would grab this occupied token, I would cover this because this is a one-time use, and then I would grab the teacher card and then play it in my city. Now, if you look here on the teacher card, this shows you that to have played this card, you would have needed to pay 2 berries or have this school card, which we did, and that's how we got this card for free. So there are also 5 different card types, and they're all different. They're all shown here, and they each have different symbols. So let's go over this one first. So this is the Tan Traveler card, and what this is you can activate this once immediately when you play it into your city, and then after that it just sits in your city and you can't use it anymore. Now these green cards are production cards, and these will activate immediately once you place it into your city, and then also whenever you do prepare for season actions in the spring and autumn. Then there's also these red destination cards, which we went over earlier, where this is available for workers to be placed. And then you have these blue governance cards, and these pretty much give you bonuses after playing certain card types or different ways to play cards for a discount. And then lastly, you have these purple prosperity cards, and then these are kind of pretty much just getting points at the end of the game. So you'll get the base points here on the card, and then there are ways to get points in the text there. If you are instructed to draw a card, you will draw a card from the main deck, unless you are specifically told to draw a card from the meadow. You're also only allowed to have 8 cards in your hand. So if you're told to draw a card, you only draw a card up to 8 cards in your hand. If a meadow card has been played, then you immediately replenish it with another card from the deck. The last action you can take on your turn is preparing for season. Now you can only take this action if all of your workers have been placed out on the board. So let's say all of our workers have been placed and we want to prepare for season. So the first one we're going to do is spring. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your extra worker, and then you're going to activate all of your production cards that are in your city again. And you will also grab all of your other workers that have been placed out on the board and take them back into your play area, but this only applies for you. Other players will prepare for season at different times than you might. When you're preparing for season and it's summer, you will grab an extra worker again, and then you will also grab 2 cards from the meadow. And when you're preparing for the last season of autumn, you will grab 2 of your workers, and then you will also activate all of your green production cards once again. So whenever you cannot perform one of those 3 actions of placing a worker, playing a card, or preparing for season, or you wish not to, then you have finished the game and you must pass. Any unfinished players will continue to play the game until they also have passed. Once everyone has passed, then the game is over and you'll tally up your points. So let's go over all the different ways you can get points. So you will add up all of the base points on your cards that are in your city. So the base points are the points listed right there. And then you'll also tally up all of the point tokens that you have in your play area. And then you'll also do all of the purple prosperity cards with the points that are listed in the description on the card. And you'll get points for the journey location. If you have a worker on a location, you'll get those points. And also any of the events that you had claimed during the game. You had the different basic events and those special events. You'll add up those points as well. And whoever has the most points is the winner. Now I'll also point out that this game also comes with a solo mode in the back of the rulebook that you can explore on your own. And that's it, that's Everdell. So go ahead and comment down below and let us know what you think about this game. If you played it, if you have any questions, and if this is a game you haven't played and you might be interested in it, we'll put a link in the description below where you can get this game. And as always, if you want to help us out, you can go ahead and subscribe and tell the world about us. And also we'll put a link down below where you can get our awesome t-shirts and other merch. So until next time, I will see you guys later. And then on your turn, you can do one of three things. That would be our indoor critter, the kitty cat.